the question that you asked, and I just want to make sure it's right, is so you got your songs ready, you're getting ready to release it to the world, and you're now just trying to figure out like, why would I pick STEM over DistroKid, over TuneCore, over United Masters, over the fifth one that I've never even heard about.
Exactly.
And so I try to create a real quick deck, but more importantly, we'll have conversations, because the answer to that is it really depends on you and your goals. There is no one best one, right? It's not, it'd be the equivalent of someone saying, why would I get a pickup truck over an SUV over a regular car? It's like, depends on your situation. If you got a farm and you're going to carry a lot of, heavy stuff, you might want a pickup truck. If you have a family, you might want a minivan. If you're a single man, you might want a racing car, like a sports car. So the choosing the right aggregator is really based on kind of where you are in your career. And the beauty of it, like a car, is that you're not stuck. You can switch it out and change it out as your career changes and your needs change. So what is an aggregator? So aggregator helps an artist distribute their music on a global scale through digital services like Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, and a host of others. Important thing for you to understand, aggregator is handling the master recording. So they handle the actual sound, what you hear. And depending on the aggregator you select, they may or may not collect on the publishing as well. So for the most part, if you're just uploading and getting it onto Spotify or Apple or Tidal, you're not collecting your publishing royalties.
Okay.
Really
And the
important.
publishing royalties would be like, is that ASCAP and BMI, or is
That
that?
would be ASCAP and BMI and CSAC. So that would be your
Okay.
performance right organization.
Okay.
Again, some of the aggregators do have publishing services where they'll take a percentage and collect your publishing for you as well. So the things you want to think about when you're selecting your aggregator, it really boils down to these things for me, right? It's the cost to distribute song, EP, or album, right? So that's like the number one thing I look for. In business, what's it costing me to operate? Some aggregators are free. Some aggregators have an annual cost. Some aggregators are free, but they take a percentage. Some have an annual cost and take a percentage. So it really depends on like, what's the cost to release a song, an EP, or an album? And those costs vary. How much revenue do you keep, right? So income. If I make $1, do I keep $1? Do they take 15%? Do they take 20%? What does that look like? The payout timing. How often do I get paid? Do I get paid monthly? Do I get paid quarterly? Do I get paid every 6 months? Do I get paid every year? Right? Those are things that I'm looking at as an artist as well. YouTube and social media royalty collection. Now that both YouTube and Facebook both pay out royalties and others will follow suit, how does my aggregator collect royalties on my behalf on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, on and on and on? Yeah. And then the last one is customer service, right? So if I have an issue, where is this company based? How easy is it to speak with someone or email someone? Will they help me with issues? How long does it take? Right, there's some that might be a little cheaper, but they might have horrible customer service. Again, depending on in your artist career, how important the collection of your music royalties are. Because for some people, it's not. Some people are like, yo, I'll put the music out. If it makes $1, cool, but I really make my money on merch and touring. They may not need the best customer service. For some people, it's like, no, I think I'm going to stream a hell of a lot and this is going to make a lot of money. And if I have an issue, I want to be able to talk to someone within a couple of days. So here's a list of commonly used aggregators. And I kind of started, and I'll send you this document. I broke down kind of like pros and cons of each aggregator. So CD Baby, who's one of the oldest, is the first aggregator I ever used. They're artist focused, right? Meaning they're not for someone who has a label, someone who manages multiple artists. It really is made for like one artist uploading their songs or a band uploading their songs. They take a 9% commission on royalties. So there's a revenue split or revenue share. There's a $5 to $20 one-time distribution fee. So again, the one-time distribution fee, meaning you pay when you upload it, and then you don't have to pay annually to renew it.
Okay.
And that's for UPC codes, and the UPC code is I speak about it later, but basically, if you have a CD, it's the barcode that you scan that lets you know what the CD is. but it's also used to track globally the sale of a product. So even digitally, your UPC is tied to your sales. They have physical distribution as well. I haven't used CD Baby in a few years, but that was a big thing for us early on in house because, again, we didn't have the money up front to buy CDs. So people could go and buy music from CD Baby and they would ship out a CD for you. Or we could order CDs through CD Baby and have them sent to us and we would sell them at shows. They do not do administrative and publishing to collect publishing royalties. So if you get a CD Baby account, you have to collect your publishing elsewhere. And they're really good with how they present their sales and streaming reports. So that's a really good pro. But for me, they're one of the older ones. I think they took a little bit too long to kind of catch on to some of the changes. They're still a relevant company, and they've been around for a while, over 10, 15 years. So they've got that on them. But compared to some of the newer companies who I think are focused on like where things are heading, if you're a newer artist, you think you're going to be doing TikTok challenges and all that stuff, CD Baby may not be where you want to be.
All right, perfect.
TuneCore is who we used after CD Baby, and they were our primary aggregator at house. They're both label and artist focused, so the reason we use them at house, we went from CD Baby to TuneCore, was once we got to a point where we had multiple artists we were putting music out for. TuneCore is really good at like organizing by artist, by song, by genre on the back end. They don't take a commission on royalties, so what you make, you keep. There is a yearly distribution fee, so it costs, I think costs $9.99 a year for a single and $29.99 a year for an EP or an album.
Yep.
And that adds up, right? We had at one point, call it 50 plus songs, if not more, and we were paying for annually, either as part of an album or probably more than that because of the albums, as part of an album or a single. So we were spending, call it $600+ a year minimum, if not more, on our distribution fees. But those songs were making us a lot more than that, so it was worth it for us.
Okay.
They do have an option for admin publishing to collect your publishing royalties. There is an additional fee for that, and they take a percentage of it. But it is easy because it's under one umbrella. So if you don't really want to deal with BMI and ASCAP and setting all that up, they'll collect on your behalf. Important to know that when they collect on your behalf, the publishing is registered under TuneCore. It's not registered under your publishing company.
Okay.
They have an excellent sales and streaming report, and I'll actually show you an example of that in a little bit. And then one of the things that I do like about them, and we actually took advantage of this a few years back, is after you show consistent income, they'll offer you cash advances to fund upcoming projects, which you can use for studio time or marketing or whatever it is. And one thing I didn't put on here, but they also have the ability to pitch your music for playlists on Tidal, Apple, and Spotify. For that, plan on having your music uploaded a month before release and submitting it at least 3 weeks out from release date.
Okay.
It's called a featured release submission. All right, so Awol is artist focused. So Awol to me is almost like a newer CD Baby. They take a 15% commission. So if you make $1, you keep 85 cents. One of the things about them is they do not have distribution fees. So even though you're paying that 15% commission, if we had our 50 songs up on Awol instead of on TuneCore, we wouldn't spend $600 a year in commissions. In annual distribution fees. We would, however, have paid out a lot more than that in commissions based on what we were making.
Okay.
They're really good as far as sync and playlisting. So Awol's you have to be approved, you have to be accepted to join Awol. But once you do, it's almost like a label rep. So, they push very hard because they make money on the commissions to get your songs on as many playlists and pushed as possible. So you pay the commission, but on the flip side, Awol has a really good hit rate with getting songs on decent sized playlists.
Okay. And about how long does it take because I think for different distributors, like you have to wait like 2 weeks in advance or 4 weeks in advance, or some of them like a day in advance. So
For the song to go live?
Yeah.
So they all say like, a week or 3 days or 4 days. We've literally uploaded songs and had them show up the same day and next day. Like, because we've
Mm,
had mistakes made where it's like, oh, that's spelled wrong, or oh, we got the wrong song uploaded. And we've switched them out and had them up almost instantly. I will say that if you're releasing a single or if you're releasing an album, you want to plan to have it uploaded about a month before, because
mm,
that submission for playlisting, I want to say they say 2 weeks, but from my experience, a month to 3 weeks is where you want to start submitting for those spots. Because what happens is the labels have already submitted. So the labels submit like a month out, anyways. They already kind of know what's on their playlist for, if it's April 19th, they already know what that Friday a month from now's playlist looks like. They're filling in the slots with a few songs. So you have a higher chance of getting those slots filled or being a part of that if you are a month out than if you were 2 weeks or a week out. And again, having label relationships or being a big name artist almost instantly puts you in those slots. So if you're a
mm.
relatively unknown artist, give them as much time as possible to say, "Oh, okay, really like this song. It's got to fill in the artist name or fill in the sound vibe. Let's put it on these 5 playlists." So I'd say a month out is what I would shoot for. The minimum would be 2 weeks out.
Okay.
And then customer service with Awol can be a little slow without a representative. So again, Awol, like a lot of independent labels work with Awol. So an artist will have an Awol account, but the label rep is kind of who's connecting with the Awol team. And like anything with a label type presence, Awol tends to have, I would say, they respond quicker if you're a bigger name on the Awol team. So if you're relatively unknown, relatively new, you get selected, you submit your first song. Oh, I realize I want to add this genre to it. I submit a change report or form. Awol doesn't respond as quickly as some of the other people. That was like my one knock with them. And then excellent sales and streaming, super transparent, definitely made for like today's artists. Then we got DistroKid. So DistroKid is both artist and label focused, meaning, you as an artist can use it, but also labels can set up DistroKid accounts. There's a 0% commission for royalties, which we love, meaning you make $1, you keep $1. And then there's a yearly fee for DistroKid based on whether you're a label or an artist, but it's for unlimited songs. I love
Mm.
this because like and we can log on and see what the fees are, but I think at the time it was like $99 for us. When we uploaded maybe 4 or 5 songs to DistroKid, we paid for those songs one time or for our account one time. And then we were literally just uploading songs whenever we could to like release singles or whatever it was.
Yeah,
No
it says
admin,
for a single artist is $20 a year. So
$20 a year. So I think it was like 99 for the label, whatever it was.
yeah,
Yeah, so $20 a year compared to TuneCore's $24.99 for a project. That's
yeah,
pretty good. There's no publishing collection for DistroKid, which means if you have a DistroKid account, you have to have a BMI or ASCAP set up.
yeah.
There's an option for Beatport distribution, which is like a bonus for them. They have like some really cool incentives and partnerships with like marketing companies and like placements for songs and sync and film. So they're growing. They're a newer company, like 5-6 years old, compared to like CD Baby's 20 years. But again, I feel like DistroKid is more forward thinking. And ironically, the guy who founded it is from Bethesda, Maryland. So
Oh, wow.
EMB ties to DistroKid. So I'm a fan of DistroKid. Uh, we used it for a couple of our projects and individual releases. TuneCore is still our primary.
Okay.
And that's just because we used them. We had the longest relationship with them, and then we ended up doing the funding thing with them, which once you borrow money from somebody, then it incentivizes you to put as much music out with them so you can pay that back, which we did.
Okay.
STEM is next. So STEM is I feel like the future, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the now. So like I think STEM is both label and artist focused. They take a 5% commission. There are no distribution fees. So again, AWOL is a 15% commission with no distribution fees. STEM is 5% with no distribution fees. They have smart payout systems, meaning you can upload a song and put the collaborators' information in, and the collaborators can get paid directly from STEM. They have to set up a
Yeah.
STEM account to get paid, but it takes the guesswork out of it. compared to everyone else where, you know, you upload the record and you have to do the math. And for house, you know, we got to a point where we had, again, a couple hundred songs up. It's a lot when you have a couple hundred songs. Some songs have 9 people, some songs have 3 people, and you're trying to figure out how to split 18 cents from a song that's 5 years old for May of 2021. It can be a pain. STEM's really good, like Awol, with playlist support. So if you submit through the STEM platform for playlisting a month out, they do a pretty good job of getting you picked up, even if it's not a big playlist. I want to say almost every song we put through STEM got picked up on at least a playlist.
Okay.
Application only. So like Awol, like the reason they have such a high hit rate is they curate their music. They do not collect publishing, so you have to have a BMI and ASCAP, and they are probably the most transparent and cleanest way I've seen anyone present sales information from an aggregator standpoint. So I think they're very forward thinking. They're the future. I don't know if that means that they're the now. If I was releasing a song right now, I don't know if they have to be the go-to. We have an account, so obviously we've used them, but if you can get plugged into that system, if you can build a relationship with them over time, I feel like in the next 5 years, STEM is going to be, one of the go-to aggregators for any independent artist and for almost every independent label.
All right.
Right. And then United Masters, last but not least, they're the newest kids on the block. They're definitely artist focused. You keep 100% of your music. They have a free version where there's a 15% revenue share, I think. And there's a paid version where there's 100% of the royalties go to you. For the paid version, it's much like DistroKid, where there's an annual United Masters fee, and then you don't pay to release your music. So if you have the free version, you can upload as many songs as you want, and you split revenues like Awol, 15%. If it's a paid version, you can release as many songs as you want, and you just have to renew every year at the $60 or whatever it is. And then if you start out with the paid version, and let's say next year your credit card's expired or you don't pay, you don't renew, then your songs instantly switch to the 15% commission model.
And does that work in the reverse too? Like if I start on the free version and then pay? All right, perfect.
Right. Yep. They have tremendous marketing opportunities. Obviously, they have the NBA 2K, the NBA commercials, and expanding. I know that's a really big thing for them, is they're trying to get a lot of those direct to consumer, direct to market opportunities for artists as far as marketing. They have playlisting and radio submissions. We've never gotten a playlist or submission through them. I've never used them as a label owner. But I do plan on experimenting with them as an independent producer and an artist. So I'll see like what their hit rate is with these placement opportunities and these playlisting and radio submissions. One of the knocks that I have heard, and my lawyer brought this up, is United Masters has some fine print in their contract that basically says if you release a song through United Masters and you have an opportunity to get a label deal, United Masters has the first rights to sign you.
Okay.
So,
and how are they as a label? Do you have any?
Well, again, they're really just an aggregator. So it's funny.
Okay.
It's like they're an aggregator who's kind of like stepping into some of the things that labels do, but it's not guaranteed. So with the United Masters account, you don't have guaranteed marketing. You don't have guaranteed playlisting. A label guarantees you those things. However, I'll say United Masters does provide the, when you click link in bio and it takes you to the graphic that says iTunes, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, they'll create that for free. Like there's a value to that. I think they do help with like marketing assets and stuff. So there are things that they do that, again, start branching into the label world. But they're not a label. They're an aggregator at the end of the day.
Okay. And then something that I don't think you mentioned for any of these, but international distribution. So if I release through one of these aggregators, but I want to start building a base in, let's say, Asia or West Africa or Europe, how would I go about that? Are there like collaborations between them, or are these worldwide?
All of these aggregators are worldwide.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And by worldwide, that means like if I release through TuneCore, I don't have to register with anyone else or anything else. My song will show up in Japan, no problem.
Correct. On the master side.
On the master side, okay. Okay.
So things artists overlook. So one of the things that I really think most artists overlook is paying contributors. So if you're an artist who's going to collaborate often, have multiple people on your records, take into account the work that it takes, like I said, to make sure everyone's getting paid, right? Especially in the independent artist world. If you're doing a 30-30-30 split with, two other contributors, 33-33-33, sorry, and your song makes $1, if you upload it to your TuneCore, you are responsible for paying out 66 cents from that dollar, right? Whereas if you do it with STEM, you would put in their information and then they're responsible for going and setting up their STEM account, and STEM pays them out on your behalf. And on the flip side, if they uploaded their TuneCore, then you're chasing around somebody to get reports and get payment.
Okay.
So just something to think about. Delays in royalties received. So sales and streams are usually 3 months delayed with most aggregators. So I literally just did a audit on a TuneCore for someone, and it is April now, and the latest payment was from February.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where I'm getting them money transferred from the TuneCore to their PayPal, but the money that they're getting transferred is from, I think it was like December, January, February. So in April they're getting paid for those 3 months. Again, add that to the fact that you're paying other contributors at the same time, just keeping in mind that like creating a system where people are getting paid consistently and your payout is transparent, so someone can say, all right, the $200 that Liam just sent me is from December through February, December 20, February 21, for the song that I did with him. And eventually, if you collaborate with a person on multiple songs, then you're sending out payments for different songs for periods of times. It can get confusing. Luckily for you, you have someone like your pops who can help you create a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And you can keep track of that stuff pretty simply. But a lot of artists who don't have that background or that knowledge, I think they get in a lot of trouble, not because they're doing anything wrong. They just don't know
How to keep up,
even go about it.
organize. Yeah.
And then you've heard me say this a couple times. This is only the half. The publishing and sync royalties, which come through your publishing, are from through your performance right organization or your PRO. That's BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC. So just because you upload your song and it's now on iTunes and Spotify and Tidal, and they can hear it in Japan and they can hear it in Ghana and Nigeria and everywhere else, you're not collecting any of your publishing royalties, which a lot of people don't realize. You actually get publishing royalties from Spotify, Apple, and Google as well. So the payout that you get through TuneCore isn't even a full payout from the music outlets. They also have to pay out publishing because they are streaming over the air. So to get your full pay, you have to make sure the song is registered through a publishing company on one of the performance rights organizations. And again, take into account that those are often delayed a year. So I just got paid for Q2 of last year, a month ago, for my publishing. And you have to register, and your contributors have to register as well. So you can register and put their information in, but if they don't have a publishing set up, then their funds will just sit until they set up an account and go claim their royalties.
And they have to be registered in the same one. So if I'm registered through Ask, okay.
You just need their information. So yeah, BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, you can all work together on a song. BMI is just going to collect your portion of the song.
Okay.
So if your song makes $1 and you have 33%, BMI is going to go out and get that 33%. All right, so royalty collection. So this is a dashboard. This is the TuneCore dashboard screenshot that I took. So what you'll see here is a list of the stores. So in the tab, you have releases, which is like the projects, right? So if you have albums, EPs, you'll see them there. The songs, so a list of all the songs. the stores, which is a tab that I've highlighted now, a list of all the stores it's available on, the countries and territories, which is what you were asking before,
Yep.
and then the sale months, right? So this report here is looking at like our total collection for a period of time. I don't even know what period of time this was, and the song sales and streams. So like Spotify doesn't have a music store; there's a streaming site, so it's 100% streams. iTunes, they have streams and sales. Apple Music just has streams. YouTube Music has sales and streams. So like this again is where like it can get really confusing at times because sometimes you're getting sale money, sometimes you're getting streaming money. With sale money, like iTunes, for example, iTunes keeps 30%. So a 99-cent sale is really 70 cents. It's little things like that. But then the beauty of this is you can download these reports, and those downloaded reports will give you a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet. That's what you actually will use to figure out how much money you get to keep and how much money you have to pay out.
Okay, that makes
This
sense.
is a section of a sales report. So the first part of it has like artist name, song name, all that good stuff. But this is really the meat and potatoes of it. And I'm going to go through each section of a sales report with you. So the UPC, we already talked about, the Universal Product Code, is how your song is tracked. And if you ever made a physical copy of a song, it's the barcode you would use to sell that song. So if you ever made a vinyl of a song or a CD or a QR code that takes you to a download, an NFT, your UPC would be tied to that. Your song ID is your metadata file that's embedded in the song. That's how you can say, hey, Alexa, play a song by Nim Music. Alexa's pulling from the song ID and the metadata that's there. So that metadata is going to be the artist name, song name, genre, release date, topic, keywords, on and on and on. So that metadata file that travels with your song is how like Siri and Alexa know, if I say, hey, play me a song that got released in the last month, then your song would pull up because in your metadata, it would say, well, Nim released a song in the last month.
Okay.
Your ISRC code, your International Service Recording Code, I believe is what it is this is optional. It's actually the real code is in the beginning. Is a code that is tied to your song. It's also the code that you need when you're registering your song in your publishing company. So it's the number. It's almost like your social security number for your song. It's the number that ties the master and the publishing for the song together. And if you ever wanted to switch aggregators, if you wanted to leave TuneCore and go to DistroKid, and you didn't want to lose your sales and stream numbers, you would have to use the same name, same artist name, and same ISRC code. If those three fields are the same, if you move the song from one aggregator to another, you wouldn't lose your streaming numbers because the store would see it as the same code. So your sale type. So again, you saw in the other one, you're going to collect for sales. So for the stores that still sell MP3s, Amazon, iTunes, and then streaming, which is going to be like 99% of your music revenue is going to be the number one. And that's changed in the last 5 years. Then units sold, right? So how many sales did you have in that period of time based on the store? Your price per unit, right? So this is an average based on it's weird. Like streaming royalties are calculated on a monthly basis, on a rolling monthly basis, based on the number of people signed up, the ad revenue, and the number of plays. So it isn't a fixed number. It's not like I could say Apple is 0.00 or Spotify is 0.00. It's a rolling number with all of them, and you kind of get an average. Apple Music's probably the closest to being consistent, Apple and Tidal, because for the most part, everyone pays the same amount. But an example of where everyone doesn't pay the same amount is if you have an Apple family account, you pay $14.99, but up to 5 people. So it's not, so you don't get the same payout for someone who's listening on an Apple family account as you do a regular Apple Music account. Same for like Spotify student account versus Spotify free account versus Spotify paid account. Those three paid out different amounts.
Okay.
Then your net sales is basically your unit sold times the price per unit. Your currency is what country. So when you ask that question, you see here Canada is up here,
Yep.
US is up here. I don't even know where THB is. I don't even know what platform that is. It'll show you the exchange rate. So because you're collecting globally, it automatically will do an exchange rate for you based on the US dollar to whatever it is. Your total earned, so what's the actual amount, right? And then your currency, so your total amount in currency. And then once you get that, it's going to give you like a total monthly or quarterly or annually, depending on how often you pull out your money. Of you know, you a total of $200 was made over 3 months from 90 stores and one song.
Okay.
And your job is to take that math and say, okay, what percentage of the song does Liam own? That's how much you get to keep. What percentage do other people owe? That's how much I have to send out to other people. That's what your split sheet should inform. So if you give someone 10% of the song, of the master side of the song, then they should get 10% of these sales. Right? If you have a label deal, if the label deal is 80-20, the label would keep 80% and you would get 20%.
I like those numbers.
80-20. Yeah. That's a generous label deal. Used to be like 90-10.
All right.
So final thoughts. So to answer your question, and really we're looking at these three. This is my template Canva thing. So how many songs and projects, right? So I look at that as like the number one thing for an artist starting out for the first time, just trying to figure it out, right? Like if you say I'm a quantity guy, I'm gonna go the Russ method and put out a song a week and flood the market with dope shit, but I'm just gonna flood. I wouldn't select a $10 a release option because that's going to add up over time.
Yeah.
I would go for something that's either one-time payment and unlimited releases or free, and I'm going to give up 15%. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So for that option, if I was going to go like, a whole lot of songs, I probably would do DistroKid, me personally. I'd pay one time a year and I would have unlimited releases, and I will just make sure that every year I have enough in my account to cover that one-time fee. On the flip side, if I wanted like super, super quality releases and I'm trying to put a song out and let it breathe and let it build and let it do its thing, I'm probably going to try to go with a STEM or Awall or one of the like curated groups, because I'm going to get that song to them a month or two before release. I'm going to get the graphics put together. I'm going to try to get them to get me on 5-6 playlists. And I'm trying to have 1 or 2 songs on my artist profile with millions of plays instead of 100 songs, like 200 plays. So that's where I would go, more towards one of those people.
Yeah.
If you plan on collaborating often, I would go with STEM, right? If you plan on being like, I write, I also produce, I also record. I'm going to work with 5, 6, 7 people on a song. I'm going to put out 10, 20 songs. And, those songs are probably going to do really well, but I may only own 20% of some songs and 80% of other songs. If you don't plan on being the label administrator for the record yourself, then STEM would be who I'd go with because they do the math for you. Right? And the last thing, you aren't stuck, right? Like the beauty of it and what I'm now on the other side of house starting to put out records myself in 2 months. I plan on putting out multiple records with multiple aggregators. I'm going to put out my first record with TuneCore because that's who I've had the longest relationship with. But I plan on testing United Masters. I actually already just set up my account. I just paid for it because I want to see like what's the difference between United Masters and TuneCore today. I'm going to do another one with STEM and Awall. I'll do another DistroKid. Might put out 5 different singles this year on 5 different aggregators. At the end of the day, all the money is going to go to the same PayPal account.
Okay.
But if I do the 5 and I really like one, or I build a good relationship with one, or partnership with one, then again, I'm not stuck. As long as I have my ISRC code, the name of the song, and the name of the artist, I can move all my songs over to another account whenever I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better.
Cool. So any questions?
Oh, I think you actually touched on like my situation exactly, which was like I'm paying money up front to create each of my songs, and so I can't afford to make 100 or even like 10, 15 songs this year. I'm looking to release like 3, 4. So, but I also want those songs to gain traction. And since like I'm just starting as an artist, I want to get good exposure through playlists and like, and then all that sort of stuff. So looking at it, because I was initially looking at doing a United Masters or doing a TuneCore, but STEM actually wasn't on my radar. So I'm gonna have to do some more research on that one.
Yeah, I think United Masters. Again, I've never released with them personally. I know artists who have, and I think that they're the underdogs. They're the young kids on the new tech on the block. They've got the cool factor. I think they're trying to prove a point. They're trying to be disruptive. So being a part of something like that can, at the right time, at an early stage like now, if you get in early and you build with them, could be really, really good. On the flip side, they're still raising capital. They're pretty young. I don't think a company like that goes anywhere, but I could see a company like that getting bought out by another group, by a label or by Spotify or by Apple or by Tidal one day, which could have effects on you. But again, if you grow in that system, it could be a really good look for you. So kind of things you got to look into. As I said, like something like CD Baby, something like TuneCore, been around forever, not going anywhere. It's kind of stable. It's really hard to go wrong there. Some of the newer ones, that's kind of like we don't know where they'll be in 5 years.
Okay. And then one of my questions too is I don't know how often this has happened, but let's say the company does get bought out or they decide to go out of business. So like a CD Baby, which has been around for 20 years, is like, all right, we're closing up shop, and I still have a song with them. Are my royalties or my money insured in any sort of way, or like do I have insurance for a payment?
They're businesses, so I don't know if they have specific insurance. I'm sure they do because they're businesses. But what I've seen in the past is like it's usually an acquisition. So it's like, hey, just letting you know we got picked up by this company. Nothing's changed. You might just get reports from different branding now, or like I said, for the most part in this space, because I feel like we're now getting to a more refined version of this digital music industry. You'll start seeing groups come together. I could see like STEM and Awall might come together, or like DistroKid and TuneCore may come together, and like you'll start end up seeing like massive like conglomerations. But I think from a branding standpoint, it probably won't change any of the branding, and I don't think anything's going to go down. I do know there was an issue once a couple months ago with DistroKid. I saw something on like Clubhouse where like people couldn't upload music or do something, and it was like messing people up. So, or people couldn't get their songs on TikTok or something. So, you just got to be mindful. That's why I say like building relationships with all of them early on in your career, and then seeing who treats you well. Like I think that's a big thing. Is as great as some of these may be, if I put my music up with you and you don't respond to my emails and you're not hitting me back because I'm not quote unquote the biggest artist on your platform, but someone else is showing me all the attention and support in the world, I might go with that smaller group and build with them because I at least know like we have that in common. I'd rather be as an independent artist somewhere where I know like you're paying attention. And if I got to make a little bit more noise, and that's fine, I'll make a little bit more noise.
That makes sense. Okay. No, I got some thinking to do, but you've definitely shaken up my ranking right now.
Cool. Well, let me know. Keep me posted. Like I said, I'm actually getting ready to upload one of the first records now. So I'm doing TuneCore and United Masters for the first 2 records I'm putting out, and just want to see how different they are.
Shoot.
And United Masters to me feels like it's more hip hop. So the hip hop record I'm putting through United Masters, and the other one, which is more almost R&B-ish, I'm putting out through TuneCore.
That's what I saw too. I'll send you this website too, where I found a blog that had a bunch of like reviews for almost all of the distributors. I think it's called Ari's Take or something like that. So
Ari's Take. Yep. Yeah, I know Ari.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I went through and I was doing a little bit of research on that and looking through what he had to say. So
yeah, Ari's a knowledgeable source. So
wonderful. Because
definitely get you.
I vetted him, so I'm glad he has your seal of approval. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll race to 1 million streams. Who gets there first?
At this point, I'm just having fun, man. I told someone the other day I was in the studio. I was like, yo, like I feel like I did it the right way for me because early on, I think had I gone down that road of like trying just to be a producer and like just be on the music side, I'd be in that rat race of trying to like, million stream million. I see the pressure it puts on these artists and like how people change their sounds and make songs they're not comfortable with because they feel like they have to compete, get on playlists. And now I'm at a point where like I literally just put music out as it's a hobby, it's for fun. Like if I put it out and it gets 6 plays, I'm cool. Like it's just for fun. But if I put out and it gets a million streams, to your point, like I can't lie and say I wouldn't be happy. I'd love it, but it doesn't have to. And because it doesn't have to, I don't feel like I have to make like, oh, okay, drill is hot. All right, let me learn how to make a drill beat. Like now I like drill and I'll make a drill because I love the sound and I'm like, dang, like I really love how they make their records. But it's not like, oh, well, my next 6 got to be drill because I'm trying to get on this drill playlist because that's what da. Or I'm trying to make new trap records. It's like I just want to make music that like feels good, I like, and then see what happens.
Wise words. We're still racing, but wise words. And then I did have a question because we were talking about playlists and stuff like that, and I know you said some distributors do that, but you can do all that yourself, right? Like you can. Is there a way to contact the curators for playlists and try and pitch your song to them without going through your distributor? Or
You can, but it's almost like high school. It's like a who knows who type thing.
Okay.
It's everybody, it's everyone in the world is trying to get one of like 25 spots. Everyone in the world, literally. Like, you're competing for the same spot as Beyonce and Taylor Swift. So it's one of those things where like I tell artists, if you can get on their radars and do all that, it's cool. But like build your movement because your movement will outlast the playlisters and the blogs. And if you build your movement and you keep making great records, you will eventually find yourself on the right playlists and blogs. You may never get on a New Music Friday, but if you can get on 25 indie neo soul blogs that, or playlists that true lovers of that music listen to and concert ticket buyers listen to and merch purchasers listen to, you could build a whole independent career without ever having to hopefully get the attention of one person who's again fielding thousands of requests every year for 25 spots 52 times a year. It's 52 weeks out of the year. So there's a finite number of spots on these playlists. But there's again thousands of other playlists that may only have 100 listeners, but those 100 listeners might make you 25 diehard NIM fans. And I'd rather take 25 diehard NIM fans than, 3 days on a big playlist on the 80th spot, which gets me 50,000 plays. But of those 50,000 plays, I may get 5 people who really care about me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've seen it all too many times. Again, it helps. I'm not going to act like it doesn't help. Getting big playlist exposure definitely helps. But it's a marathon. Like you said, we're racing. It's a marathon. Take your time. Build your audience. Who are the real fans of your music? That's who I'm focused on. I'm looking for the small playlists with, 30, 20 curated songs with someone in college or someone who's like a music nerd who really, really has an eye and ear on what's coming next. That's who I'm reaching out to. Because if that person likes my song, it's genuine. It's not transactional. There's a lot of transactional people on these other playlists. You always want to be the guy that someone's like, yo, have you heard of? When I heard of Daniel Caesar, he wasn't on any playlist. No one like people that put me on him, like it was like a early, like, yo, you heard of like when I heard of Frank Ocean, he didn't have nothing in the stores, like he had no music out. That's you want to be there because those fans are lifelong fans. Those fans are ticket buying fans.
True. Definitely bought my tickets for Daniel Caesar. Okay. Makes sense. All right. I got a lot to think on. Yeah. I'm excited, man. Thank you.